Welcome to Bilingual Professionals. My name is Daisy Sedeno, and I'm a bilingual professional. And today we have Michael Zeff. He's a community advocate, but he have other titles. He's been working in the community and working in both languages because he speaks Spanish and speaks English. And si me hubieran dicho que tú hablabas en español, nunca lo hubiera adivinado. Cuando me lo dijiste, yo dije, wow, this is fantastic. Welcome to the show. How are you?
Wonderful, Daisy. Gracias por la invitación. Thank you for having me here.
Well, you have many hats. Tienes muchos sombreros y estoy muy orgullosa del trabajo que estás haciendo en la comunidad, pero para que la gente te conozca, cuéntanos un poco de tu trayectoria. Tell us a little bit about your journey.
About my journey. Well, I was born in New York. I moved to Palm Beach County as a teenager. So I've
Ujú.
been here. I'm not, yo no voy a decir cuántos años, but it's been a little while I've been here. And so I'm very proud to be here and to do a lot of work here in the community. As you said, I do wear a lot of hats. I work for the Palm Beach County Sports Commission. I'm the senior director, and we work to do economic development and help to bring tourism to the county through sports.
Ajá.
And in addition to that, as you know, I'm very passionate about the Hispanic community. Y yo hago mucho trabajo en la comunidad.
¿Cómo empezaste con lo que es la parte de tu trabajo en los deportes y eso? How did you get started with that?
I have always been an entrepreneur.
Okay.
And when I was in college, I had an idea for a college baseball spring training event. And
Ajá.
I started a business in my college apartment, inviting colleges from around the country here to Palm Beach County to do their spring training. And I started off the first year in 2004 with 35 colleges. And imagine this is a time like we had to send faxes. They would fax in their information, right? There wasn't Expedia. They couldn't just go online and book their trip. So
Exactly.
they basically hired me. These 35 schools hired me to find hotels for them, van rentals,
Oh,
to arrange the
wow.
games and reserve the fields and umpires and everything that's required to put on an event. And like that, in just a few short months, I was in business, and I ran that business for 11 years.
Oh
And
my
I sold
God.
I sold it. It's still going on today, but I sold it back in 2014. So I'm an
Wow.
entrepreneur at heart.
That's a fantastic story. And then you found this job or he found you?
And worked for Major League Lacrosse for 5 years. So I worked in professional sports, and I was very involved with the Palm Beach County Sports Commission from when I started my event. They were very instrumental and helpful in helping me to get started and make the initial connections with hotels and the things that I needed. And that's what we do. So I was a board member for many years and very involved in the organization. And when they created my position, the senior director position, our executive director actually reached out to me and asked if I would be willing to come and take the role and be the first person in the role. And I jumped at it.
Wow, that's fantastic. Tell
Yeah.
us a little bit about that part of speaking Spanish. How is that? How did you start doing that? You were like in a bilingual
I was
school or
no,
just how?
no, no. I was very fortunate to have the opportunity cuando yo era joven a aprender español. Y esa oportunidad me dio un respeto, una pasión por la comunidad hispana. And that
Mhm.
really drives the work that I do in the community now.
And how is that, like as a professional, as an entrepreneur, how is that helping you to connect with the community and to excel at your job?
That's a great question. I have been fascinated lately by something called social entrepreneurship.
Mhm.
There are people within our community. So small businesses and nonprofits, they're really not that different. They're two sides of the same coin. And what happens is small businesses build economies, but nonprofits build communities.
Mhm.
And that's really critical. That's a really critical part of what happens here in Palm Beach County. We have so many amazing nonprofits that are helping to reinforce and build our communities in a range of things, from social services to sports to across the board, everything you can imagine. And there are many entrepreneurs who, just the way a small business starts, they see a need, they see something in the community that needs to be fixed. And rather than starting a business where they say, oh, I'm gonna try to make a profit, I'm gonna try to get rich doing this, instead they say, I think I can fix that. And they go off and they start to fix those problems. And that's the concept of social entrepreneurship, and that's really what I'm fascinated by right now.
And Spanish is helping you to connect with a specific community, which is the Hispanic community, especially in South Florida. That is huge. The diversity here is crazy. People from all over Latin America and the Caribbean, dominicanos, puertorriqueños, colombianos. A veces estoy en un sitio y uno dice, wow, es increíble la diversidad de todas partes. A veces encuentro una persona de Ecuador, like, oh my God, I haven't met somebody from Ecuador in a while. Como que uno se emociona porque uno dice, is the only place in South Florida, that's how I see it, like South Florida, New York, that you find people from all over Latin America, and we speak the same language. And that's helping you, even though, you know Spanish, to connect with this diverse community.
Yeah, absolutely. You're absolutely right. There's 21 countries where Spanish is the predominant language. I think we have them all here in South Florida. We're very lucky to have a little bit of everybody. And the Hispanic community continues to grow in Palm Beach County right now. According to the last census, the Hispanic community was 23% of our population in Palm Beach County. As you know, in the school district, it's almost 40%. Yes. So that's really, I think that alone kind of tells us two things. One is that I think the Hispanic community was probably underrepresented in the census. But the other thing I think it starts to tell us is that we're going to have an explosion of our adult Hispanic population here in Palm Beach County. And it just continues to add to the diversity and the vitality of our community. It's amazing. It's amazing. This is such an incredible place to live and work and play.
Exactly. And you're connected with a lot of nonprofit organizations all across the county, specifically in Palm Beach County. For the people that are watching this, we are in Palm Beach County, and it's like maybe an hour and a half from Miami. A lot of people say, oh, you live close to Miami. No, I don't. I live like an hour and a half from Miami. Tell me a little bit of those nonprofit organizations that they're doing the job, they're working really hard, but there was a disconnect and you find kind of a solution. You said, oh, let me do something about working together, because you're doing also that, right?
Right. And that's what I was talking about with social entrepreneurship. It's just about finding a problem and doing something to solve it. And I have been very involved, as I said, in the Hispanic community. Y hace como un año me di cuenta que tenemos muchos nonprofits que están ayudando a la comunidad hispana, but there was a greater opportunity for collaboration, for them to get together and find ways to work together. Individually, as nonprofits, we can do X amount. But when we come together and try to work towards the same mission, whatever that is, and maybe it's one organization, helps with clothes, shoes, and another organization provides jackets. Well, there's an opportunity, because if somebody needs shoes, they probably also need jackets and sweaters and whatever type of other clothing that they need. So once we get our nonprofits together and we start to collaborate, amazing things start to happen. So I started bringing together earlier this year. I started bringing together the nonprofits and that help to support specifically the Hispanic community here in Palm Beach County, and now we meet on a quarterly basis. It was incredible. We had our first meeting of about 35 nonprofits that all support the Hispanic community, and we had all executives in the room. We had one funder, one sponsor that was there, who came to by invitation of one of the executives in order to see it. And they ended up joining the board of another one of the organizations that was there and becoming a sponsor for them too. And we've had so many of these organizations already starting to work together and collaborate on projects of their own. So it's so incredible to see what's coming from it. And we're meeting now on a quarterly basis and more, and doing trainings and workshops. And it's all about supporting our La Comunidad Hispana.
Fantástico, me encanta. If you can, as a, you're an spectator, as you're not Latino, but you see there's a need, there's something that we can do together as a community. One of the things that I see, as a Latina, is that here in the United States, we cannot check that box. I'm Dominican, I'm Puerto Rican, I'm Colombian. Here we're Latinos. And sometimes we have to understand that as a community. I can say because I'm Latina. Here we are one. The way that they see us, the English speaking community, it could be Caucasian, it could be African American, they see us as Latinos. Do you feel that way? I mean, you can just tell me your version or your perception, because sometimes we can get disconnected and we just want to do stuff with the Latino, with the Dominicans, and then with the Puerto Ricans, and no, we have to understand that here we are all Hispanics. That's the way we have to work together. And sometimes I feel a little bit disconnect on that side. That's me as a Latina, but you as an spectator, viendo desde afuera, ¿cómo tú nos ves en ese sentido?
You know, Daisy, I think we're all people
Ajá, sí,
luchando, buscando el sueño americano.
exacto,
Eso es la
sí,
verdad por los
completamente.
latinos, no importa el país de donde viene,
Sí,
eso es la realidad por los latinos, los americanos, lo que sea. Everybody is looking for prosperity and success and
exacto.
all of the things that come along with the American dream. And I agree with you that sometimes it can be a little bit of a minefield because it can be tribal, right? You have groups that
Ujú,
where the Colombians stay with the Colombians and the Dominicans or stay with the Dominicans. You're absolutely right. But there is more among these groups. There's more that unites us than that separates us.
exacto.
We all have a common struggle. Estamos todos luchando, siguiendo adelante. And it's so important that we work together and come together and support each other.
Exactly. So you agree with me that sometimes you see, like tribus haciendo por su lado, solamente se trabajan con ellos mismos. Yo creo que es importante y eso lo podemos enseñar desde nuestros estudiantes en la high school, de que todos estamos trabajando juntos. When I go to a high school, I see everything. And at the end of the day, somos hispanos, somos latinos. O sea, aquí no nos dicen, por supuesto, cuando yo digo que soy dominicana, de una vez sale, ¿dónde está el merengue? ¿Que te gusta bailar bachata? They all say that. Pero si digo que soy colombiana, bandeja paisa, they go that way. It's okay. Pero at the end of the day, when we are going to represent the Latino community, I try not to say I'm Dominican or Puerto Rican or I am Latina, I'm Hispanic, and I'm here to represent the whole community. Entonces, es como importante para mí. Otra cosa que yo he visto es que a veces we're just doing business with ourselves and not with the English-speaking community. Because we have a situation with the learning the English. How do you see it? I mean, you speak both languages. You have like a muscle in your brain that you can navigate two languages at the same time in the context and the whole. And I think I do the same depending on the situation. Pero sí, es algo que tenemos que trabajar. Es lo más lindo de este mundo, poder comunicarnos en los dos idiomas. ¿Cómo podemos promover eso? Tú que estás trabajando con non-profits, yo creo que la educación es tan importante porque, I think it's fantastic that we're helping and serving and providing resources, etcétera. Y vamos a hablar de ese evento que viene pronto por ahí, de las mochilas, that's coming.
Sí, rellenar la mochila.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that. That's fantastic. But what about education to move my community to the next level? We are growing in numbers, but we are not growing in leadership. And that's the reality. La demografía de algunos lugares, 40%, 30%, pero we are not in the table, the decision-making table. In your perception, education, when it plays a very important element.
Education is the most important element. It really is. And in my experience, la comunidad latina es una de so welcoming, poderosa, con mucha pasión. And, it's such, again, there's more that unites us than divides us. And when we work together, we come together, there is no limit to what we can accomplish together.
Mhm. Okay, so let's talk about your event that is coming up. Rellenar la mochila. Y viste esa necesidad porque dijiste, bueno, se puede hacer esto a mitad de año. Vemos muchos eventos back to school at the beginning of the school year, August, July. Oh, let's do this. But you said there's a need also. Tell me, how did you get into that event, or how you decided to put together this event?
So, I love this event, and this is something that I've been working on now for ya casi un año. And este evento empezó hace como un año. It was around Christmas time, and I have a son who's in middle school, and he came to me, and it was in December, and he said, "Daddy, I need a new backpack. My backpack's ripped." I said, "Okay, we'll get you a new backpack." And then he said, "Well, I also need new shoes." Okay. And then the teacher said I need new pencils and I need new headphones for the school. Anyway, so we go to Target, and me salió $500.
Wow, sí,
Y
sí.
yo dije, wow.
Nada
Yo
más
me
en
quedé
zapatos.
pensando,
Sí.
yo me quedé pensando, yo soy muy afortunado que
Yes.
puedo así comprar esas cosas sin pensar, pero ¿cómo lo hace la gente que no puede? ¿Qué hacen? I mean, what if the backpack is ripped and they can't just go and buy a new backpack? What if they run out of pencils? So empecé a hablar con some of my friends that are teachers, and I said, "Is this a thing? Are there kids that actually don't have supplies to get through the whole school year?" And Daisy, I was shocked. I was shocked. There are kids in our community that halfway through the year don't have pencils, don't have backpacks. There's kids that are carrying their stuff in plastic bags, and you have teachers who are already sacrificed so much to be able to do this job and give to our students, to our children, and they're trying to step in and fill the gap and buy supplies themselves. It's absolutely unbelievable. So, and this is something that I think especially affects the Hispanic community, because we know the dropout rate among the Hispanic community is almost 3 times higher than it is for their peers. And that is school supplies the only reason for that? No, that's a very complex issue of all types of interdependent issues that are affecting it as well. But resources are a big part of success. We know that. So what we're doing, so I partnered with the Latin Quarter, West Palm Beach, and Dina Rubio, who we both know, who owns Doberman's.
Hi, Dina.
She's amazing. I love you, Dina. So we partnered with Dina and the Latin Quarter, West Palm Beach, which is a nonprofit here in West Palm. And el 2 de noviembre estamos haciendo un evento que se llama Rellenar la Mochila.
Buenísimo.
Y estamos regalando, it's here at Conniston Middle School. Estamos regalando 500 mochilas, pencils, notebooks, sweaters, jackets, bicycles. We've got all kinds of things for kids. It's going to be an amazing event. Not just that, but all of our nonprofits here in Palm Beach County that provide services to our community are welcome to come for free to set up, to be a resource for the families that come.
At the school?
At the school, at Conniston Middle School that day. We'll have DJ and all kinds of things happening. So
I'm coming.
Yes, well, you are always welcome. If anyone's interested, please visit the Latin Quarter website. We need everybody to sign up in advance. Of course, we don't want to have people just show up and we don't have enough supplies. So we want to make sure we get the right number of supplies for the right number of people. And as you know, different kids at different ages need different supplies. So we got to make sure we know exactly what we need to have there that day. But it's going to be an incredible event for the community.
So you have to go into the Latin Quarters website and you have to sign up con tu información, la edad del niño, más o menos así es que lo están haciendo.
Exacto.
Okay, fantastic. Okay.
What I'm hoping, Daisy, is that this is the start of something that becomes much bigger, which is people recognizing that this resource gap exists, and that this becomes an annual thing, not just for the 500 students that we're going to work with in West Palm Beach, but countywide, statewide, nationwide, and people start to realize that Our kids need resources.
Yes. What can we do better for, in general, for the whole community in Palm Beach County, in your perception, for our youth? I mean, my thing is education, I always go for that one. Pero a veces me siento como que se puede perder una oportunidad fantástica de no empoderar a nuestros jóvenes. No estoy hablando de solamente las minorías, estoy hablando en general. Because there's so much content out there that is saying something else to our youth. So in your perception, you're a dad too. So and I know you're very proactive dad, and I am too. I am a very
I know
hands-on.
you are. I know you are. You're a
Hands-on. No, I'm
tiger,
trying
tiger
not to.
mom.
No,
Tiger
I'm
mom.
trying not to. They're already older, so they don't need me anymore. Kind of. What can we
Well,
do better in your perception? Not because our kids, we're trying to just be very proactive and very involved, but when we go to the schools are doing what they can sometimes, but as a community that is growing, especially minorities, in your perception, I mean, you're doing your part, but there's something that maybe you say, wow, we should do this.
yeah, I would say the one thing that we probably don't do enough is talk to our kids and listen to them.
Mm-hmm.
There is probably nothing more important than talking to kids and listening to them. I was working with a community organization today, and they were telling me a story about a young lady in Belglade who was having an issue at school where kids were making fun of her about her clothes and the fact that she was coming to school and was smelling bad and whatever. And somebody from the community, one of the community organizations, sat down with her and said, really, to try to understand what was going on and how they could help. They wanted to get her new clothes. Well, it turned out that she didn't have a washing machine at home, and she wasn't
Wow.
able to wash her clothes. So she said to them, well, I need quarters and I need washing soap to be able to wash her clothes.
Oh, wow.
Well, you know what they did? They ended up working with some other organizations there in Belglade, and they got a washer and dryer installed in the high school so that
Yes.
this girl could bring her clothes discreetly and have them washed there during the day while she's at school. And I know, I'm so grateful that somebody sat down and had this conversation with her and really listened to what it was that she needed. Because if you just try to solve the problem without really listening and understanding what the problem is, then you might just be fixing symptoms and not really solving a problem.
Yeah, that's a very good
And
point.
she's also not the only child that has this issue, right? So now
Mhm.
they've created a system in place at the school that can help other children that have the same issue. So I really think we cannot underestimate the importance, especially with everything going on right now, with social media, with some of the other
Mhm.
violence and things that we see in the media, and with our young people. It is so important. Sit down and have a
Yes.
conversation with kids.
Y esta es la generación que está más informada que cualquier otra generación en la historia de la humanidad. Because we have this. Even, kids that shouldn't be on the phone, 5, 6, 7 years old, they have something, because that's like babysitter. It's becoming the babysitter for some people. I'm not judging. I know people, they have jobs, they want to do stuff, and immediately they give whatever, an iPad or whatever. But we have to understand que eso tiene doble filo. Eso puede ser una arma que viene contra ti, maybe not now, but when they become teenagers. So it's so important. Thank you for saying that conversation needs to happen. Sometimes
You
we
know,
don't have dad or mom in the house too, so we have to keep that in mind. So it's important to
right. You're right.
understand.
And we've
Mhm.
lost control in a lot of ways of what our kids are watching at a much earlier age than we ever did. When I was a kid, we had one or two TVs in the house, and that was
Yes.
it, right? You were at
Yes.
one of those two TVs. Your parents could see what you were watching. It was easy to supervise and to
Control.
manage.
Exacto.
But I thought I was so smart. I put a password on my Netflix a few years ago. My daughter's in
Mm.
high school now; she's 17. But I put a password on my Netflix, and I said, anything that's R-rated, you have to come to me, and I give you the password." So I walk into her bedroom. This was about a year and a half ago. I walked into her bedroom, and she was watching Breaking Bad on TV.
Mm.
Right, this is when I knew I lost control. And I said to her,
Ah.
I said, "How are you watching Breaking Bad? How did you get the password?" "¿Sabe qué me dijo?" She said, "Oh, I pulled it up on my phone and I'm just streaming. I found it on a website and I'm streaming it to my TV."
So that's why a conversation has to happen. It's important that and it's okay, I feel, that you're able to at least communicate with her. I mean, with
Yeah.
my kids, I do
So
the same thing.
I saw it as an opportunity. And you know what I did, Daisy? I sat
Mhm.
down with her and I said, "Well, as long as you're watching this show now, let's take this opportunity. Let's talk about drugs and let's talk about consequences." Right? There's a
Mhm.
lot of consequences. There's a lot of even though, I would prefer that she wasn't watching it, I said, I'm going to take advantage of it. And let's talk about some of the stories and the things that are happening in this show
Yes.
and how important some of these decisions that these people are making and how it's affecting their lives.
Exacto, una oportunidad. A veces empezamos a pelear con los hijos. Why are you doing that? How do you get? No, maybe, okay, let's sit down because you're already watching it. So let's talk about it. Y puede ser una oportunidad fantástica que se abra para otras cosas, porque lo peor que podemos hacer en todos los sentidos como para nuestra juventud es que se cierren. Y ahí es que pasa esa bomba, ¡puf! Explota y cuando te das cuenta, you don't know how to handle it. Okay, we talked a lot about everything. We talked about your community advocate, tu deseo de trabajar con la comunidad.
I, I'm
Hablamos,
so
ajá.
I'm so appreciative, but I gotta tell you something. I gotta tell you something. You and I have been friends now, Daisy, for a little while, and I'm so impressed by you and the work
Oh,
that you do, the
thank you.
stories you tell, and how you help the community. And I'm so proud of you for everything that you're doing. And I see that you have a new book coming out. ¿Quién te
Yes,
cree que eres? And
sí.
I know it's coming out real soon. And if you're one of my friends that are on my Christmas list, spoiler
Ay,
alert, like
ay,
this is
ay,
what
ay.
you're getting for Christmas this year.
Ay,
So
Dios mío.
please, how did that come about? I'm so curious. Like why did you do it? And tell me a little bit.
Bueno, he hecho muchas entrevistas como esta. He trabajado en los medios de comunicación, maybe 20 years, 22 years. I've been working in communications. And este ha sido uno de los mejores experimentos que he hecho, de descubrir our triggers, cómo funcionamos como seres humanos. Y ahí fue que nació el libro ¿Quién te crees que eres? Es como un poquito de mi historia, de que me la tuve que creer. I had to believe in me. I had to open that door myself. I had to maybe close that door or decir, it's okay if it didn't open for me. So I had to believe in myself without validation, da, 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 da. And then I start doing like consulting, communications, coaching, y me di cuenta que muchas personas tenían esa misma situación de, trying to find themselves. So that's why I decided to write the book. It's coming up soon in September. And I'm really excited. Es como un bebé, como cuando uno va a dar a luz un baby, sin los dolores. Ya viene el baby. And it's going to be also an opportunity for me to connect with people that I don't, maybe I don't even know, the people to know about my journey. So it's another element there for me to just connect with my community. Lo voy a hacer en español primero. Ya lo hice en español y va a ser audiolibro también. Y porque eso es uno de mis fuertes, es voice acting. Yo he hecho mucho voice acting por unos 15 años, desde comerciales hasta narrar películas, o sea, de todo un poco he hecho.
So, si uno
Narración.
compra audiobook, eres tú ahí
It's
leyendo el
me.
libro.
It's
Oh,
gonna
wow.
be me. It's gonna be
Oh,
me.
wow.
I know. Y yo voy a poner un poquito extra ahí de TLC, porque ahí voy a poner la emoción de ese momento. Si estoy contando una historia de ese momento, entonces ahí voy a poner un poquito esa parte de voice acting y la emoción de lo que esté, Y uno va, you go there. When you're telling a story and you're feeling it, you go there in your mind and your spirit. Así que cuando lo compren audiolibro, yo siento que voy a dar un poquito extra. Por supuesto, el libro en hard copy también tiene lo suyo. Pero sí, voy a dar en este libro de todo un poco. Así que me dejas saber qué te pareció. Por favor, be gentle with me. It's my first book. You're going to be gentle, please.
Of course, that's the only way I am.
Pero you can say, Daisy, like the sandwich technique. Have you ever heard of the sandwich technique?
Oh,
Two good things I'm going to tell you. And then I bring you down. Two
no,
good things. Yes, it's
no,
a
I'd rather
coaching
just say
technique.
two good things.
Two good things, and then, but there's an opportunity for growth over
I
here.
don't think there's going to be, but I think it's going to be just like the other things that you do. I think it's going to be
Oh, thank
incredible,
you.
and I think it's going to be very wise. And I can't wait to read it. And I'm such a fan. You know, we talked
Oh,
about it.
thank
I'm
you.
such a fan of the work you do, and
Thank you.
as somebody who has been involved in public speaking before, I think it's so inspirational what you do, the work
Thank
that you
you.
do, the clients that you work with, and the stories you tell. And I can't wait to read the book.
Thank you. It's going to be in Amazon. You can go to the webpage. Voy a venderlo aquí mismo.
Hágale.
¿Quién te crees que eres.com? ¿Quién te crees que eres realmente.com? Y ahí puedes ver cuando ya salga, va a venir el coming soon en unos 7 días. Ya, di la primicia. 7 días exactamente. El libro va a estar en vivo y en directo. Así que con muchísimo amor lo hice. Y lo hice en español primero, pero ya viene la parte en inglés porque vivo en los Estados Unidos y tengo una comunidad que me están diciendo, ¿what? No, you cannot forget about us. Así mismo me han dicho. Entonces, I have to do it in English. It's going to take a hot minute, maybe I would say like 60 days, depending on my editor zone.
¿Lo va a traducir o lo va a escribir de nuevo en inglés?
Lo voy a traducir, porque
Okay.
como hablo el inglés también, entonces voy a estar ahí hands-on para transmitir, no solamente translate, because sometimes you translate and something can get lost in translation, pero voy a trabajar para que sea bien auténtico, que una persona que hable inglés como primer idioma sienta como que no le están traduciendo. I'm going to try to do my best to do that. Pero thank you so much for bringing it up.
Yeah. I don't know how you find the time to do all the things that you do. It's incredible.
Alcohol. I'm kidding. I don't drink. Anyways, thank you so much for being with us today.
Gracias por la
Bilingual
oportunidad.
professional. Sí.
Thank you.
Un último mensaje
No,
de todas las cosas que haces. Como una cosa que me gustó muchísimo que pusiste, creo que fue en LinkedIn, to find opportunities to serve. Sometimes you think, oh, you have to go to, I don't know, China or whatever. No, maybe right there. So maybe that will be the message for today.
absolutely. Just if it doesn't take much to make a difference in the community. There are opportunities to serve everywhere. It's not, we talked about social entrepreneurship. If you find something that you can do something about it, but you know what? It also can be as simple as just volunteering for an organization, a community organization, going to your local city and county commission meetings and getting involved and advocating for things that are important to you and your neighbors. Advocacy and volunteerism are critically important in our society.
Fantastic. Well, that's it for today. Bilingual professionals. Thank you so much.